What's happening, everybody? Big Lance, off the yard. Today, we're going to take a break from the series that we've been going through, the 5-part series, man. But we're going to touch on kind of the origins of all the stuff that I talk about as far as why people go to prison as adults, what is the thought process, and what's creating young criminals, what's creating young convicts, what's creating young people who are institutionalized. Is it them? Is it the parents? Is it the administration? Or maybe it's a combination of everything. Maybe it's just people don't understand, want to understand, or want to see the truth. But that's why I'm here. So let's get into it. Gladiator game, gladiator game, gladiator game. I'm Big Lane. I'm Big Lane. Tuned in to all the gladiator game, gladiator game, gladiator game. I'm Big Lane. I'm Big Lane. Tuned in to all the gladiator game. What's happening, everybody? You're tuned in to another episode of Off the Yard, man. Today I'm taking a break from the series, the 5-part series that we're talking about, the shoe and walking people through a shoe term. So if you haven't checked that already, backtrack a little bit. Go check out the first 2 episodes, man, because it's a really insightful series, man. That being said, we're going to touch base on the horrors of juvenile prison and detention and long-term juvenile, sentences. Let's see if it's okay. It's better. Sorry about that. One thing about it is when you start the process of being institutionalized early in life, you very quickly become adaptable to being incarcerated and being locked down in a cell or a pod or things of that nature. But the other thing that people don't really think about is what goes on behind the scenes, the things that people are doing to some of these kids. And I've spent a lot of time in the adult system. I spent a lot of time in juvenile as well, years of my life. And the reason I grew up to be so adaptable to being incarcerated is because at 11, 12, 13 years old, I got put in situations that were kind of crazy. I've talked about some of them, man, and unfortunately YouTube is not going to allow us to say certain things. They'll flag our videos. They don't want the truth to be put out there. They don't, because if people knew the truth behind a lot of what goes on in these places, they would not let children be there. From the things that the kids are doing to one another to what the staff does to them. And we're talking physically, we're talking the other way, we're talking about mentally. And when you put a child in that environment, you put a child in that situation, they're forming their own opinions of life. They're forming their own opinions of themselves. When you have a child who is put in a cage, who is being told by staff they are no good, that they ain't worth anything, when they're having to witness and be privy to certain things that nobody should be privy to, and nobody sees it. It's swept under the rug. Nobody's held accountable. Because by holding someone accountable and making a stink about it, the administration is in turn held accountable. Makes everybody look bad. And if the administration is held accountable, then the people above them are. Crap rolls downhill, man. Unfortunately, the kids who are incarcerated are at the bottom of the barrel. I've witnessed assault in so many forms to children. Boys, girls, didn't matter. There are some sick individuals, man, that work at these places. They get jobs at these places because it helps to enable their sickness. It's like putting a kid in a candy shop. And once they do these things to these kids, and once these kids have been whatever, then starts the psychological. Well, if you tell anybody, you won't get out of here. If you tell anybody, we'll hurt you. Think about it. 11, 12, 13-year-old children being threatened by an adult. An adult that's supposed to protect them, take care of them, feed them. Yeah, they made a mistake. Yeah, they ran away from home. Yeah, they got in a fight at school. Yeah, they stole something. They stole some money. Does that facilitate the amount of just degradation that these people are putting on these children? No, it doesn't. What it's creating is a mental thought process that gets clouded by anger, resentment, guilt. Because when somebody does something to you, takes your manhood as a child, or your womanhood as a child, you'll be pissed off, you'll be mad, you'll be frustrated, you'll be angry, but you also feel guilty. It confuses you. I've seen kids who can't even hold their head up, can't even look you in the eye, because they have such a bad secret that they hide every day. They grow up to be adults, and then they see those same faces. The faces of the people that beat them, the faces of the people that hurt them. I'm not saying every staff member is like that, because it's not. But you got bad apples in every situation, man. Just like you have bad apples in a gang, or bad apples in a workplace, or bad apples. Do you really think that everybody that works in these places is a good person? These are bottom of the barrel people most of the time. They don't pay them anything, so nobody that's worth any amount of integrity or moral fiber is trying to do this job. So what do you get? You get sick-minded individuals, man, who say, oh, man, and the world needs to hear that. Society needs to understand that, you can't just believe everything that these people are telling you. A lot of the reasons why a lot of these convicts are the way they are to this day was because of what they endured in a juvenile institution. Because of the damage that was done to them psychologically by these people. Don't be so quick to blame. Don't be so quick to judge. Because you have no idea what that person might have been through, or what they've been subjected to as a very young person. On top of all that, nobody at such a young age should be locked in a cell. A cell. Look how your kids act when you put them in their room. I've seen many kids, 10, 11, 12 years old. I can't be in here. I don't want to be in my room. Oh. And that's their room with all their stuff, their television, their games, their clothes, their life. Now imagine taking that same child. Go look at your 11, 12-year-old kid right now, and I want you to ask yourself, could they handle being put in one of those places? With nothing. Sat in there, I've been in some places where they make you get down into your underwear to go into your cell. Why? Why do you need an 11, 12-year-old child to be in their underwear, to be in their cell? Answer that for me, Mr. Epstein. You know what I mean? A lot of things in these institutions, juvenile and adult, promote some type of weird deviation from the norm. How do I know? Because I saw it. I was there. Can't tell me any different. I know. You can formulate your own opinions on whatever it is by watching your little TV shows or listening to what they tell you. as they herd the world around like the sheep that they are. Let's sweep it under the rug. Let's not tell everybody about it. I've even seen people take payoffs because they'd rather take the payoff than have to be drugged through court and have to relive it over and over and over. You think that a 15-year-old girl wants to get out of an institution like that where she was repeatedly abused and then go sit up on a stand and look those people in the face again? Nah, she doesn't. Do you think a boy wants to? Do you think a young man wants to go up in front of the whole world, his family, his father, his friends? These kids are helpless. And they're counting on y'all. A lot of them don't have a voice. A lot of them are losing hope. There needs to be discussion. There needs to be investigation. There needs to be accountability for a lot of the crap that's going on in these places. I've seen fight clubs in juvenile prisons. And the guards, they just sit back and watch it. It isn't TV, guys. It's not, this isn't the movie Sleepers. This isn't Bad Boys and stuff. This is real, man. I saw it. I lived it. I've been through it. If you have somebody that you love and they're trying to give you signs, they're trying to give you a heads up, you need to listen to them if they're in one of these places. If you are a parent of a troubled teenager or a kid or whatever, you need to understand that putting them in those places should never be an option. It shouldn't. Because what are you really, you're not fixing anything. You're making it worse. You're damaging them. I was, from a very young age, 11 years old, I started being locked up. By 13, I was institutionalized. By 17, I was a convict. At 44 years old, I've done around 20 years of my life in prison. You don't want to be that person that wakes up and realizes this is just what I am. Because it's a bad feeling, guys. It's a bad feeling. It's a hopeless feeling. It's a sad, just. We get on these prison channels, we talk about this. I was actually going to make a video about booty bandits. I don't want to talk about booty bandits, man. I want to have a discussion. I want to have a discussion with these people who are responsible for the well-being of these kids. For the well-being of the kids that I see every day, for the well-being of the kids that I grew up with, for the well-being of me as an 11, 12-year-old child. It's not a game. It's not a joke. It's not funny. It's not. Stop turning the blind eye because you don't want to see it. Stop acting like it doesn't exist because it does. And it will continue unless something's done about it. The horrors of juvenile prison. Assault. Borderline mental torture. A lot of people won't talk about it because they don't want to relive it. I understand that. But until somebody really opens their mouth, then the world cannot open their eyes. And this is America. This isn't even the worst. Imagine going to some of these other countries, El Salvador, Bolivia, things like that, wherever. Imagine how bad it is for kids over there. I appreciate you. Tell y'all I appreciate y'all time listening to this video and taking a little break from the series. I love you guys. Much love to the Gladiator Gang. And as always, man, stay up, stay out, stay sucker free, baby. Be blessed. Gladiator Gang, Gladiator Gang. I'm Big Lane. I'm Big Lane. Tuned in to all the Gladiator Gang, Gladiator Gang, Gladiator Gang. I'm Big Lane. I'm Big Lane. Tuned in to all the Gladiator.